What is up, I Love Basketball TV? It's Coach Ryan Rizuki, and today we are talking about the 5 most common shooting mistakes. Let's get into it. The first and most common shooting mistake is hand placement. And a lot of players are gonna have their hands on the side of the basketball, in front of the basketball, and not in the center or behind the basketball where we need it to be. So if we're here, shooting hand in the center of the basketball, that's gonna help you out a ton to make sure that when you go to shoot it, your shooting hand is underneath the basketball. The most common thing that you're gonna see is players either have their hands here on the side to push it, or slightly angled here, but not completely under it. And we wanna make sure that as we get into the shot, we're able to get our wrist pointed to the rim, our shooting hand spread and completely underneath the basketball, not over here, or anywhere else other than underneath it, right? So I'm here in the middle, my guide hand is on the side, I'm not having my hands too close together, I'm not turning my wrist with my guide hand, and I don't have it in front of the ball. A little bit's okay, but as long as it's mostly on the side, a little bit in front is okay, a little bit on top is okay, but just make sure we have good security, shooting hand underneath, and that we can release it straight to the basket, not here, and not here. The second most common shooting mistake is going to be rhythm. And so oftentimes what you're going to see is players not understand how to connect the ball with the body. What we need to do is start both of these things low. So the ball starts low, the body starts low. As the ball rises, we follow and we flow completely through that basketball. What you will see as a mistake is that players will do the opposite. So even if the ball's here and the ball's low, my body will be standing up. But as the ball rises, my body will drop down. This is not good rhythm at all. So make sure that when the ball's low, your body's low. You do not want to see the opposite. So if I'm going up and down at the same time, this is bad because now I'm going to push the basketball through my hips instead of flowing through my hips, which is what I want to do. So ball low, body low, flow, and shot. Right? We want to be able to extend our range, and the only way to do that is to have good rhythm, to make our shot as effortless as possible. You can see how poor this looks. If I start with the ball here, my body drops, and then I push. That's not the way we want to shoot the basketball. We want to make sure ball low, body low, and then we follow and flow through it. The third and most common shooting mistake is our shooting path. So if you noticed earlier, I started with the ball right here on my right quad. I'm gonna bring it straight through my right eyeball. So I want it to be as completely straight as possible from here to here. And so often a lot of players will start the ball on the opposite side of the body. So bringing that shot path here, right? But now you can see that my hand is not underneath the ball. So as I shoot it, this is gonna mess with my arc, mess with my rotation, and then I'm not gonna be able to get it as straight as I want it to be. So right quad through right eye. We don't want it to be here towards the ears. That's too far, and that's too far. I'll even take it in front of the nose, because that's pretty straight as well. But once you cross that line and get to the other eyeball, now that becomes an issue. The other part of the shot path, because this needs to be straight, but we also don't want that ball going backwards, because then it turns into a catapult. So if I get into my shot and the ball crosses my head and gets at any point past my forehead, this becomes an issue because it's now a catapult into my shot. So let's not do this into that, and let's make sure that the ball doesn't cross this side of my face or this side of my face. Anytime that I'm going to shoot it, that ball should be in front of my forehead at all times. It should never cross, and never cross any part of my head. Bring that ball up as straight as possible, in front of this eye right here, right on top of it, in front of my forehead here, and it should release straight to the basket. The fourth most common shooting mistake is inconsistency with our shooting form. Now, there's a lot of reasons why poor rotation can happen, but the number one thing that you can do to improve it is to make sure that you're releasing the basketball with these 2 fingers. So once I release, if the ball rolls off these fingers, I'm making sure that I'm doing a good job. If it rolls off the last 2 fingers, definitely not good. If it's coming out without a snap, definitely not good as well. That's gonna hurt your rotation. But the other way, and the other reason why your rotation can be really messed up is because of offhand involvement. Now, if it doesn't mess with your rotation, that's awesome, that's great. You might be able to survive with it. But if it is hurting your rotation, you gotta make sure that you fix it right away. So typically when a player has offhand involvement and they're pushing the basketball with 2 hands, you'll be able to see very clearly how the ball starts to spin sideways or diagonally, or even has no spin at all. If we can, we'd like to have a ton of spin on that basketball to make sure that it's soft and it flows through the air nicely to make sure that we have a good path to the rim. But if you are pushing the basketball with 2 hands and it is messing with your rotation, a good and easy way to fix this is to take your thumb, to take your index finger, off of the basketball completely. So place your guide hand on the ball just like you normally would, take those 2 fingers off of it, and then as you shoot it, focus on releasing but not pushing. So you can see the right hand here, the shooting hand is doing all the work, and the guide hand is just helping to guide as a bumper on the side, but it isn't pushing or imparting any force on the basketball. So if your offhand creates an issue with your rotation or an issue with your arc or any problems with your shot, an easy way to fix that is just to take those 2 fingers off, and as you shoot it, we can rotate it here to the basket and make sure that we have good backspin on the ball. This will give it friendly touch as it hits the rim and allow it to fly through the air a lot easier resistance-wise. So we put together a drill to help you to do all these things correctly, not make these mistakes, and to become a much better shooter at the exact same time. So what we're gonna do is start right next to the basket and have the ball here sitting on my quad. I'm gonna make sure that my shooting hand is in perfect alignment in the middle of the basketball. My guide hand is on the side, and like I said, if you have an issue with your guide hand, let's take these 2 fingers off. So 2 fingers off right here, shooting hand right in the middle. My body starts low, the ball starts low. I go up to shoot it. Where's that ball coming? Straight through my right eyeball. So I'm not coming around, I'm not pushing it across, it's not going in any odd pathways, it's as straight as possible. So from the right quad, straight to the right eye, I release. Where's my elbow? Above my eyebrow. Where's my hand? In the rim. I'm checking all those boxes off to make sure that I can shoot the ball the same way every time. So from here, all I want to do is make 3 shots in a row. I accomplish that and get my 3 right here, then I'll go ahead and take a step back and do the same thing from right here. I want to keep moving back until I can no longer do it. So 1, 2, and 3. Take that step back. And then I want to eventually get all the way back to that 3-point line until I can hit 3 in a row. Now, if I miss a shot, then what I'm going to end up doing is going back to the previous spot. So I'm here right now. Let's say I miss one. Boom. I'm going to end up right back to this spot again. But if I do make all 3, I can go ahead and scoot back. Now, the important part is, as we start to extend our range, we need to keep the same consistency with our shot and with our form, because like I said earlier, consistent form helps lead to consistent makes. So nothing changes no matter where you're shooting from. So I'm just going to back up right here, same thing, and eventually we'll get out to the top of the key. Hand inside the rim, elbow above the eyebrow, ball low, body low, finish up high, check off all the boxes, good backspin. We'll be able to do all those things no matter where we are. Ball goes right through my right eye, keeps everything straight. We keep the form consistent, we'll keep the makes consistent. Go dummy, go beat.